Mississippi, where he's been working out, trying to get to that National Football League, and he did great strides, B.J., on Saturday with the performance at the East-West Shrine game. Had to have been kind of surreal. This is, I guess, all the stuff that a guy grows up dreaming, that play in the backyard where you're, 2 seconds to win the Super Bowl and all that stuff. So good for you, B.J. We're congratulations on great performance Saturday.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on. It's always good to hear some familiar voices, especially down here in Mississippi. But I really had a great time down there in St. Petersburg. It was a really cool opportunity to go down and see a really cool organization in the Shriners Hospital and what they actually do with the kids. I think they've treated now something like right up underneath 1 million kids. I think it's 986,000 kids.
Amazing.
So,
Man.
I mean, it was an awesome opportunity, and the football was just an added plus. It was awesome.
B.J., I know the practice sessions mean a lot, but the games are kind of hard. Talk about trying to get into a rhythm because you're going to play one quarter, then somebody else comes in. That's a hard format for you to impress somebody. That's why the practices are so important.
Absolutely. The practices, we opened up on Monday. We had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Those are really your core, your practices. Sunday's light, and then Friday's just a simple walkthrough for these all-star games. And absolutely, when you get into a rhythm early, and then you get taken out because you got 3 quarterbacks, 4 quarters. So you got to figure out how to split that time up and get those guys, even looks. So in my opinion, I was sitting pretty in terms of starting because it kind of let me go through a pregame warm-up. I knew I was going to be the first guy going out, so I kind of was able to catch that rhythm. And then coming back in the fourth quarter, a little bit of rust, sitting around for the whole game, and then I kind of got back into that rhythm again and started feeling good. So, the practices are what really set those all-star games off, especially for scouts. Those guys are usually gone by Wednesday and Thursday, and then the game is just something that's fun and for the fans down there.
Now, are you going to play in another one, B.J.?
No. That was my last one. I got invited to the one down in Arkansas. I think that one's on February the 4th. But I think I've decided just to stay here and prepare for the combine because if I was to leave for that, it'd be on Monday, and then I'd play on the 4th, and then I'd come back here and then leave on the 22nd. So that'd only give me about 2 more weeks. So I think I'm going to take the full 3.5 weeks here and get ready to go for Indianapolis.
Well, not only the fact, B.J., that you were so impressive in this game with switching out of quarterbacks, but just the amount of time you have to practice, learning the playbook, getting some kind of chemistry with your teammates. Usually when you see these all-star games or these senior bowls or whatever you want to call them, usually the quarterback position, they don't play very well because, it's because of that, because there isn't that much time. You don't have the chemistry with your wide receivers and things like that. So, congratulations, man. You did a heck of a job.
Oh, I really appreciate it. And that's a great point. When you come in and, as the practices went on, we continued to get better. The first day it was pretty simple, but you could still see a little bit of sloppiness with the timing and things like that. Maybe some deep balls, some touch balls, and that all comes with practice and preparation and getting to know those guys and which guys can come out of breaks better than others and which ones have straight ahead speed and this, that, and the other. So it was good. To get in there and see how quickly you can adapt. It was a good meter for me to see how fast I could pick things up and then pick up the speeds of the receivers, and I felt very, very confident in being able to do all that. It was definitely a plus.
What's a typical day in Hattiesburg now? What's going on?
I wake up. Usually, if it's starting on Monday through Friday, I get up about 5:59. I always set it 1 minute before 6 o'clock. I set it for 5:59. Wake up. I go to my first workout. I'm in the weight room by 7 o'clock. Lift usually till about 9:30. I got a break between my next lift to go get me some breakfast, and then get a little bit of food in me before 12:30, 1 o'clock. We come back in. We do speed, agility, and throwing. And don't throw every day, but we do some type of long toss, medicine ball preparation in order to kind of strengthen our core and the arm. Today I went and did a shoulder therapy workout just to continue to work that rotator cuff and those small muscles, and then usually wrapped up by about 4:30 and back to the apartment either to kind of relax or, I actually just as you guys called, I just got off the water, so I was fishing a little bit, kind of trying to relax.
Really? I was going to say you got to hit that fishing hole too. That's part of the training, isn't it?
Absolutely, man. That shoulder. It's a really good workout for the shoulder.
Atta baby.
Really good workout for the shoulder.
Atta baby. How concerned were scouts about that shoulder? I'm sure they knew that you had the injury.
Absolutely, that was a great question. When I got down there, I think the three questions that was to answer was, okay, can you play with this type of competition? Is the shoulder okay? And I think the arm strength factor. I really do. I think the fact they wanted to see, okay, can you make that throw from the left hash to the right sideline? And I think I answered all three of those questions. And they asked me on Sunday before the first practice, are you 100%? How does it feel? We're going to be twisting on it and pulling on it as much as we can. When it comes combine time, how do you feel with it? Can you take a hit? And I think I was able to answer those questions for him real well, especially in practice. We practiced at a little high school right there in Tampa, and the wind was blowing right off the water, so I had to throw through the wind, and I felt very good with the ball coming out of my hand. I believe that my arm is stronger than it was before I got hurt.
Nice.
That's interesting because when you have an injury like BJ's, whether you're quarterback, wide receiver, whatever, it would be interesting to sit in that combine and see what they do to you. They're going to do everything to that arm and shoulder except put it in the meat grinder.
We've heard people before say you're kind of like cattle, herded up and put in line, and they're poking and prodding you and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. And I've been briefed kind of a short kind of briefing of what they're going to do, and I know a lot of it's. I'm already prepared. I think they have a whole day set out for medical stuff, and I'm pretty sure they're going to send me to the MRI machine again. And each team physician's probably going to want to poke, prod, feel is that joint. Is there any pain here, here, and here? And from the stuff I've been doing between band work. I was actually on an actual machine today. Never been on one before, and it was a really neat therapy machine that allowed my shoulder. I put it in a little slot, and I controlled the speed and how much pressure was pushed against it, and it was a very interesting piece of machinery. And I think when I walked out of there, I could definitely feel the burn in my rotator cuff, and it felt real good. And I think doing that daily or 3 times a week can definitely benefit too.
We're talking with B.J. Coleman, of course, former Chattanooga Mock quarterback, and now trying to make the NFL as the combine goes down in what'd you say, March, end of February, early March?
It's the 22nd to the 28th of February.
Okay. And then, of course, the draft is April 26th, starting on a Thursday there.
NFL Network, you can watch that combine, man.
Yes, you can.
I don't know what's so great about that, but I can't take my eyes off of it.
Buster Screen made a name for himself last year. So hopefully B.J. Coleman will be the name coming out of there from this year. So Doc had asked me, to see if we could get an answer out of you. I mean, you're such a tough interview. Any Wranglers jeans thrown your way with hanging out with Brett Favre?
Brett's been around. We've worked out about 3 or 4 times down here already at the high school here that I'm training at, and he's great. I mean, he's one of those guys that comes out there and he loves football. I mean, you can just see it all over his face the way he talks about it. He loves football. He can still throw the heck out of the ball, man. I'll tell you that. He can still spin it with the best of them. But I've learned a lot about, and you see it with Aaron Rodgers. And you can only imagine what Aaron was able to pick up from him. But I've learned a lot about, hey, see what you see, and then as soon as the ball snapped, you got to react. So Aaron does a really good job with moving his feet, and I think Brett did as well. So, I'm working on some of that stuff that's maybe a little bit more unconventional where, as when you watch Peyton, you sit in that pocket and everything's very conventional, very, very technician-oriented. Well, now you got a lot of stuff that breaks down. You can move and get the ball out of your hands as quick as you can, and it helped me. I'd say it definitely helped me for the game, too, because I had to move a little bit.
For the fans that may not know, you signed with Agent Bus Cook, who is a kind of a notoriously Southern quarterback guy. He had Brett Favre, of course, but he had Steve McNair. He's had a number of guys. Was Aaron Rodgers, is he on that list as well?
Rodgers is not. Bus has Cam Newton, Jay Cutler. He had Favre. He had Steve McNair. He's got Calvin Johnson for the Detroit Lions. He's got Mike Wallace for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's got a very, very good list of clients. And the biggest thing is he and I we mesh very well. He's a cowboy boots and jeans kind of guy, and he's got that Southern drawl and loves to fish, hunt, golf. you name it. But he's one of those guys that can walk in and sit down. And he sat down with my mother and daddy, and we sat there and were able to eat and just have a normal carry-on conversation. It wasn't trying to be too professional, and but Boss knows how to go to work too, and I really appreciate him.
Back to the game. I'm sorry, Doc.
No,
back to the game. Talk about that Chattanooga mojo that you and Tim Benford had, the former Red Bank star. It looked like you guys have been playing a couple years together with that timing.
How about old Tim? I tell you what, he showed up to work. Tim's a funny guy now.
Did you know him in high school? Did you know him at Red Bank?
I did not. I did not know Tim, but I tell you, he's a funny guy. We got to know each other pretty well this past week, and Tim comes to work. Tim's one of those guys. I think he. He's a little different than Joel. I would say he's definitely a little different than Joel in terms of size. I think Tim's right at 5'11", 199 pounds. He's got a great frame. Joel does a heck of a job with routes, which is definitely what you see. But Tim can run. Tim can catch the football, and I was very proud to see how he was able to get out there, get himself open against some stiff competition, probably some guys he didn't see yet at Tennessee Tech, and he was able to really kind of help himself, I think.
I know you can't wait for the famous Wonderlic test.
Yeah, I've taken them. I've been taking them this whole time I've been down here.
Is that right? Huh?
So that's part of it, huh?
They prep you for that.
I didn't realize that.
Well, they got all those old tests and stuff like that. You can get them offline. If you go look online, you can see them on there, and you're not going to find the exact ones that they give you, but you can find the type of questions. They're a lot like an ACT, SAT type question, and it's just common sense stuff. They want to know kind of how well you can think on your feet. You only got 12 minutes to take a 50-question test, so.
Cowboy Joe got a 2 on it.
You got to move fast.
Cowboy Joe got a 2 on it, BJ.
No, actually, I think I missed 2.
What?
So, yeah, if you remember correctly.
Oh, wait a minute.
If you remember correctly, I missed 2.
Wait a minute.
Uh-huh. Well, BJ, we're huge fans, and everybody's pulling for you. And, of course, we'll check back with you maybe right before the Combine and see how it's going down there.
Man, guys, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I couldn't do it without the city of Chattanooga and you guys behind me, so I really appreciate y'all.
Thank you, BJ.
Best of luck, BJ.
Thank you, buddy.
See you guys.
Catch a big fish for us.
Yeah.
That's right.
I had a baby. BJ Coleman, one of Chattanooga.